What's up, music monsters? I'm Lana Celeste of Midnight Media, and welcome to What's Good Wednesday. We're talking about 10 top horror movie soundtracks and rating them. So let's jump in. 1. Starting with the soundtrack to the movie The Crow. Came out in 1994. Sad fact, Brandon Lee, the infamous Bruce Lee's son, died while filming The Crow in a horrible accident where real bullets were left in the stunt gun. A lot of conspiracies around this are surrounding his death, but I'm sure we will never really know. This movie was such a cult classic movie that shaped and molded clearly by this soundtrack. Without the music, I know this would not be the underground classic it is today, with songs like Burn by The Cure, and Dead Souls by Nine Inch Nails, and Ghost Rider by Rollins Band. No joke, the entire soundtrack, there is not one song that is skippable. All of them are pure fire. I rate the soundtrack 9.8 out of 10. 2. From 1973, The Wicker Man. This movie that the ever-talented Christopher Lee and Ingrid Pitt was so eerie, drawing you in, making you feel uncomfortable, and this soundtrack really created that effect. My favorite songs are Willow's song by Rachel Verney, and Summer Is A-Comin' In by Walter Carr, and Gently Johnny by Paul Giovanni. I can't imagine this soundtrack any other way. I rate this soundtrack 6.6 out of 10. 3. Next, you could sink your teeth in with Interview with the Vampires soundtrack, Anne Rice's book adaptation, released in 1994, starring the dream team of actors Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Antonio Banderas, and Christian Slater. Never again have there been such an incredible cast in one place. This movie soundtrack was so soulful and powerful, gliding you through the emotions of the characters and the journey they're on. The darkness and sadness of this film was displayed with this soundtrack by far. So my favorite songs are Lorena McKinnon, Mystic Dreams, Born to Darkness by Elliot Goldenthal, and my guy's Rolling Stone Sympathy for the Devil. Extremely fitting. I rate this movie, or rather soundtrack, 7.9 out of 10. Moving on down with number 4, Deathgasm, released in 2015, starring James Black. This is a weird and demented horror movie with a soundtrack that reflects that with the songs like Evil Like a Knife by Midnight, Realms by Beats Wars, and Metal is the Way by Elm Street. This is a unique metal soundtrack. I personally think it's really good. Deathgasm is an underrated movie, and like the movie, the soundtrack deserves more attention. I rate this 6 out of 10. Bustin' through with Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it is on the nose, obviously a solid, good soundtrack. There are not many alive who have never heard of Rocky Horror Picture Show. The film and musical both are wins. The creepy tone of this movie, with its upbeat energy, is a true dichotomy that makes it beloved as it is. My favorite songs are, of course, Time Warp by basically everyone in Rocky Horror Picture Show, considering the amazing cast. The vivacious Tim Curry, that same Tim Curry who plays the first and best Pennywise, Fight Me, Susan Sarandon, and so many more. Next, I'm Going Home by Tim Curry, but my ultimate favorite is Eddie's Teddy by Meatloaf, a spooky good performance. I rate this 7.5 out of 10. Number 6, It Follows. This movie was another cult classic that I've been following since it was released in 2014. It's all taking place in abandoned Detroit, showing the lifeless shell of the once booming city, of what it was compared to what it is now. So this soundtrack really embodies like all those feels, like the haunted feel, kind of like making you feel alone and desperate. I love the way that this movie, sets the entire mood for the movie. Some of my favorite songs being Weapons of Velvet by Dan Cantrell, Exoiting Metal by Sky Kraz, and The Safer Parts of the City by Company Man. This soundtrack is haunting and is truly awesome. I rate this 8.8 out of 10. 7. Suspiria, released in 1977, starring Dario Argento, Jessica Harper, and Daria Nicolodi. The entire soundtrack was done by freakishly fun name Goblin. It's like an Italian band, and my favorite songs being Suspiria, Witch in the Black Forest. This entire soundtrack is emotionally transformative. The movie is filled with spellcraft, betrayal, murder, beautiful colors, dancing, intense relationships, and the soundtrack does it justice. I give the soundtrack 7.1 out of 10. Sinking In, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay, so this movie came out in 1992, starring Anthony Hopkins, Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, Gary Oldman, a killer cast, literally. Most of the music was done by Wojciech Killer. I'm totally killing that, I know. My two favorites of this being Lucy's Party and The Storm. My absolute favorite, though, is Annie Lennox's Love Song for a Vampire. It's haunting, it lingers, leaves you with stirring emotions. This movie needed this beautiful, intense soundtrack. I give this an 8.3 out of 10. Sliding in at 9, Idle Hands. This came out in 1999, truly rocked. This is a killer soundtrack. So this was the very first appearance of Jessica Alba, fun fact. And this movie just rules. So does the music. Fighting evil was never so funny, with High Times and Evil Hands. My favorite songs from this soundtrack is Enthused by Blink-182, Push It by Static X, and Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue. Everything about Idle Hands was just done right. I rate this 9.5 out of 10. Last up, we have Scream 3, starring our boy, Jamie Kennedy. His last words for the franchise, sadly. It also stars Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and loads and loads more. So this is one of the best soundtracks to put on to clean your house, to jam out to work out to. This is very motivating and full of energy. Some of my favorite soundtrack songs is Spiders by System of a Down, What If by Creed, and Wait and Bleed by Slipknot. This soundtrack smashed the silver screen, slapping its way through the movie, standing, beating his chest like an angry gorilla, telling you he's there and don't mess with him. So I rate this soundtrack 9.9 out of 10. It's about that time to fire it up, but before I do, thanks for joining me. Give this songbird a like, subscribe, hit the bell to get my video when they drop, and leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite horror movie soundtrack is. See you on the other side. Stay groovy.